Hi guys, hope you're okay. This is Daniel. So, I was having a mild existential crisis this weekend or the other weekend because I was looking into the new Zodiac dates that have been provided by NASA a couple of weeks ago. Essentially, they have changed the Zodiac dates because they've seen that there's been a 13th constellation in the sky that makes up a 13th star sign in the regular calendar. Now, because the tropical system we've always known to gauge astrology has always been in line with the calendar, we've essentially always had 12 signs of the zodiac that correspond with a given month. However, because of the Earth's axis to these constellations and the fact that we've actually tilted a little bit further than where we were when these original dates were set, excuse me, it now means that the dates have lined up with the new constellations. The original dates that did correspond with the original sign have moved by several days. What that means on the surface is that people's star signs that they know as their star sign or their zodiac sign has shifted potentially into a different sign because of this movement. So if you formally identified as being an Aries, you may now be a Pisces or potentially a Taurus, depending on where it was in the month. And it's quite a mild crisis for people because there are lots of people who do strongly identify with a particular sign. And for me, I am a Pisces, but in my previous incarnation, or should I say using the old system, my birthday was in the very late degrees of Pisces, so I was a couple of days away from being an Aries. So because that's seismically shifted backwards, what it means is that I'm now still a Pisces, but I am in the very early degrees of Pisces. That has a very different connotation, which I won't get into here. But what it means on the surface is that the other underlying planets that make up the different aspects of our zodiac, which in English means there are other planets in the solar system, apart from the star, aka Sun, that make up different aspects of our personality, and they are all situated within a sign themselves. So within my natal chart, the way you can work this out, by the way, is if you know your exact time of birth, because that's really important to try and determine exactly where the planets were situated at the time you were born. So because I know my time of birth, I've been able to look into the new system to gauge where the planets that were in previous positions are now situated. And it was really interesting. It was a bit of an eye-opening experience on the basis that I have, for maybe the last, 10 years, identified with these particular placements. And it's a bit of a mild crisis when you think that you were one particular way, but then you now see yourself in a completely new light based on this relevant information. But I think it's really important to be able to look at this objectively because I knew about this information a few years ago when the 13th sign was introduced. I think it was roughly 2017 maybe. And they proposed that the dates at that point were going to change, but they never did. But now that they've made it official, I was looking into another YouTuber's channel, I think it was Astrokit, and she basically made a video that was talking about the importance of being able to walk in the light of the truth of the new information that presents itself, because if we are using these two systems as archetypes, aka the tropical and the Vedic system, so now basically NASA's information falls under the Vedic system, it just means that there are some deep questions and some maybe uncomfortable truths about our chart that we need to look into in order to actually get to the truth of who we actually are based on the science as opposed to just the pseudoscience. So to give you an example, in the previous system, I had what's known as a moon in Libra, which is focused on the emotions being very geared towards interpersonal relationships, very stoic, very placid, whereas under the new system, I now have a moon positioned in Virgo, which is similar in a way, but it's more pragmatic, very analytical, and prone to overanalyzing. And when I realised that that was the new placement and I just read the brief synopsis, I really resonated with that information. And for me, it was just one of many indicators that said that the new system was the more accurate one for gauging who I was as a person, or in theory. All I would say is you can still use the old system, because I think that the energy that we put into a scenario doesn't necessarily change because we receive new information. I think there's almost a fake it till you make it element that does align with this particular practice, because essentially you are the sum of your beliefs, really. So if you believe yourself to be a certain way, then that is more likely to be inclined because you're thinking about it, and there's enough polarizing energy to create and manifest that archetypal personality, and that doesn't necessarily change overnight. But all I would say is, from what I've read, there might be something that could be beneficial for you. So just try not to dismiss it too quickly. But yeah, if you've gone through a change recently, I'd love to hear your stories about this. Have you shifted from one sign to another? What are your thoughts about the whole system in general? Are you not bothered? Are you excited? Yeah, any thoughts and feedback, feel free to leave me a comment below. I may talk a bit more about this, as I always threaten. But anyway, until the next video, I hope you're all well, take care and speak soon. Goodbye.